Hello, and welcome to LSET Tech Bite. Today, we've got something really exciting lined up for you. We're going to walk through creating a simple but effective poll question application using HTML, CSS, and PHP. Let's dive right into it and explore the magic behind the code. Alright, let's start with the HTML file. This is the backbone of our poll question application. We'll go through it line by line to ensure you understand every bit. At the very top, we have our doc type declaration. This line tells the browser that we're using HTML5. Next, we specify the language of our document, which is English in this case. Here we have the meta tags. The charset is set to UTF-8 for character encoding, ensuring that our text displays correctly. The viewport meta tag ensures our application is responsive across different devices, adapting to various screen sizes. The title tag sets the title of our web page, which will appear in the Browser tab as Add Poll Question. Now let's move on to the main content inside the body tag. We start with a div tag with the class of content. This will contain all our main content, keeping it organized and styled properly. Next, we have the form itself. The form uses the POST method to send data securely. The action is set to the current script, meaning the form will submit to itself. This is useful for processing the form data within the same file. Within the form, we start with a label and an input field for the new poll question. The label has a for attribute that links to the ID of the input field, making our form more accessible. The input field has the required attribute, ensuring that the user must fill out this field before submitting the form. Similarly, we have labels and input fields for 4 options. Each option also includes the required attribute, ensuring all fields must be filled out. This makes sure that the poll question has all the necessary options before being submitted. Finally, we have our Submit button. When the user clicks this button, the form data is sent for processing. The button has a class for styling purposes, making it look more visually appealing. Alright, let's go through this CSS code step by step. Starting with the universal selector, it removes all default margins and paddings and sets the font for the entire document to Georgia or Times New Roman if Georgia isn't available. Next, for the body tag, it sets a background color of a soft blue-green shade. Moving to the aContent class, this styles a container by centering it on the page with a margin of 100 pixels at the top and bottom and automatic left and right margin. It has a fixed width of 430 pixels and a light beige background color. The container also has padding of 20 pixels inside, with rounded corners achieved by a border radius of 10 pixels. For the H1 tag, which typically represents the main heading, it centers the text, adds top and bottom margins of 30 pixels, and changes the text color to a dark gray eye. The font size is increased to 30 pixels. Additionally, there's a 30 pixel bottom padding and a light gray bottom border. The label tag is styled with a font size of 20 pixels and the same dark gray color as the heading. The input tag has padding of 10 pixels vertically and 20 pixels horizontally, an 8 pixel vertical margin, and a width of 90% of its container. It has no border and a light gray background color. There's also a 2 pixel transparent border to prevent movement when focusing. The font size is set to 18 pixels and it capitalizes all entered text. When the input is focused, it changes the border to a 2 pixel solid light gray and removes the outline to keep the design clean. The button class is used to center align any elements inside it, both vertically and horizontally. Finally, the BTN class, likely used for a button, is styled with a full width, 100%, padding of 15 pixels vertically and 20 pixels horizontally. The font size is set to 18 pixels and bold. The button has a background color matching the body background with a 10 pixel top and bottom margin. The text color is set to the light beige, matching the container background. There is no border, the corners are slightly rounded with a 5 pixel border radius, and the cursor changes to a pointer on hover, indicating it's clickable. Now, let's move on to PHP to give our application some functionality. This is where the magic happens, allowing us to process the form data and handle user interactions. First, we start with session start. This function initiates a session which allows us to store and retrieve data across different pages. Next, we check if the request method is POST. This ensures that the code inside this block only runs when the form is submitted. Then we validate the form data. We check if all the fields, the poll question, and the 4 options are not empty. If they are all filled, we proceed to store the data in session variables. We use HTML special chores to sanitize the input data. This function converts special characters to HTML entities, preventing potential security issues like XSS attacks. The poll question is stored in a session variable, and the options are stored in an array within another session variable. This allows us to easily access and use this data on another page. Next, we use the header function to redirect the user to vote.php. This ensures that after submitting the form, the user is taken to the voting page to see their poll. If any of the fields are empty, we set an error message indicating that all fields are required. This message will be displayed to the user, helping them understand what they need to correct. And there you have it, folks. A simple yet powerful poll question application created with HTML, CSS, and PHP. This is a great foundation that you can expand upon to create more complex applications. Now let's see how it works. Alright, our add poll question is fully functional and ready to use. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update from us. If you have any questions or run into issues, drop a comment below and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching and happy coding.